Okay, students, this is the last section of Unit 4. This is Section 9, and we're going to talk about slope of parallel and perpendicular lines today. Okay, just a refresher course here. When you have two parallel lines, they never intersect. Okay, parallel lines. And this means parallel. Okay? So when you have two parallel lines, notice how they have the same slope. This line here has a slope of 3 and a y-intercept of 100. Remember our slope-intercept form? This line here has a slope of 3 but a y-intercept of 50. Okay? So what did you notice about the parallel lines? They have the same slope. But different y-intercepts. Oh my goodness, the smartboard is driving me nuts. Okay, so what do y'all think would happen if they have the same slope and they have the same y-intercept? Well, if we had a slope of 3 and a y-intercept of 100, it would be the same line, okay? So that's why they have to have a different y-intercept. They cannot have the same y-intercept. All right, so let's look at number 1 here. Identify which lines are parallel. So what we're looking for is we're looking for the same slope with a different y-intercept. Okay, well this one here is already in our slope-intercept form, and the slope is 5/3. Okay, this one right here is in our direct variation form, and the coefficient in front of your x is your slope. So here our slope is 1. This one here is in our slope-intercept form. So our slope is 5/3. And this one here is in our slope-intercept form. And our slope is 1. Okay, so same slope. So we have this equation and this equation parallel. How do I know that? Because they have the same slope and they have a different y-intercept, okay? But class, you can also say that this one and this one is parallel to itself because they have the same slope and different y-intercept. Okay, so let's look at number 2. We're doing the same thing. We're identifying whether they are parallel. In order for them to be parallel, they have to have the same slope. All right, so this one, our slope is 2. This one, our slope is -2/3. Well, look at this one, class. What do we need to do to figure out what the slope is on this one? We need to isolate our variable y, don't we? So let's subtract 2x from both sides. And then let's divide each term by 3. So on this one, my slope is -2/3. And then let's look at this last one. This last one we have in the point slope formula. Remember, that's this. So our slope on this last one is 3. Okay, so which ones are parallel? We have a slope of 2, slope of negative 2/3, negative 2/3, and slope of 3. So the only ones parallel are this equation and this equation. Why? They have the same slope and they have different y-intercepts. All right, now we're going to look at perpendicular. All right, perpendicular. Perpendicular lines are two lines that intersect that form 90 degrees. Okay? Anytime you have a vertical and a horizontal line that intersect, that forms, and I'm sorry guys, this orientation is off again, that forms a right angle. Okay? Perpendicular lines have slopes that are opposite and reciprocal. All right, so let's look at these. Right here I have a slope of a negative 2/3 and a y-intercept of 3. I have a slope of 3/2 and a y-intercept of negative 2. So negative 2/3 and 3/2. So let's see. It's telling me it's perpendicular because they form a right angle right there. So opposite of a 2/3 would be a positive. Reciprocal is, do y'all know what reciprocal means? It's when you take the product of the two numbers. The product is 1. So if I take the product of this, 2/3 times 3/2, I get 6/6, which is 1. All right? So opposite, positive, reciprocal would be like flipping it. So, yes, these two lines are parallel because it's opposite reciprocal. So let's look at number 3 here. Okay, my slope here is 3. All right. My slope here, what happens when x is negative 2? So right here is negative 2. And there's that line. Okay, so we'll look at that one in just a minute. Right here my slope is negative 1/3. All right, well, slope of 3, opposite of 3, opposite will be negative 3, but then the reciprocal of that, where you put it under 1, you would flip it. Okay, so this line and this line are perpendicular when you graph those. Okay, let's identify which ones are perpendicular. Remember, you're looking for opposite and reciprocal. Okay, my slope here is 5. X equals 3 again. Right here is 3. And right here, my slope is negative 1/5. Okay, so which ones are perpendicular? We would say that this equation is perpendicular. Here's your perpendicular symbol. Looks like an upside down capital T. It's perpendicular to this equation. Why? Because the slopes are 5 and negative 1/5, and those are opposite reciprocal slopes. That lets you know that they are perpendicular. Alrighty guys, that's it for this lesson. Hope you have a good evening.